Okay, so the next bit of the Scroll Saga. I've managed to get hold of some smaller blades, and they're not pin fitting, so I've had to use this adapter. And you're fairly lucky I didn't record that, because it would have been a lot of bleeping out of naughty words, because it was a hell of a time trying to get this thing set in. I had to unscrew a whole plate here before I can actually get underneath. So it wasn't fun, but it's done. And I've also got some of my leftover scrap ply, and I've just drawn out some lines. This seems to be the easiest way to start training on the scroll saw, and it's also very similar to the way you start training on a sewing machine. And that's kind of where this is counterintuitive, because I'm a machiner. I'm used to using a sewing machine with a foot pedal, and this doesn't have one. So it's trying to train myself out of using a sewing machine and into using this. So if it comes out very well on here, I've got a couple of lines done in kind of a thick marker and a couple in ballpoint, so I can kind of get my eye in with the marker and then go more exactly with the ballpoint pen. So I've got kind of straight lines, wavies, swirls, and that's going to be a fun one to do. With this blade I should be able to get corners, but again I don't know, because this is the first time I've really done anything like this. So put down the guard, because I don't really want to be wearing any bit of wood or when the blade breaks. I need to aim the little blowing nozzle at the blade so it pushes the dust away. So here goes. Okay, for a first cut, that's fairly atrocious actually. I'm trying to stay within the middle of the marker line, and I've really gone off target quite a bit. I don't know if it's the actual weight of the wood that's doing that, or is it just my lack of skill. So I'm going to try again. It's the idea of doing a marker pen first and then doing the biro, so I've got a thinner line to work with later once I've got my eye in. Not too bad, but the errors I was making were quite large, so let's carry on. Okay. So that started off really rather well, and then about there I got lost, I think. But for a practice, I don't think that's too bad. I'm not going to make you watch every single pass, because that would just be ridiculous. So I'll come through and talk them through once I've done them, so it'll be a little easier. Okay, so simple curves, not so good. Made a complete mess of that. Made a curve, but it's nowhere near on the line. This one was slightly better. I end up going to one side of my marker line, so I just end up with a fairly good line there. But again, with the straight lines, the first kind of 2/3 or so were okay, and then it went completely off the rail. So I'm going to try one more, and then we move on. I'm definitely going to have to keep doing these, I think, just to keep my eye in. Again, with sewing, you can slow the machine down if you're going around corners. With this, the temptation is to keep pushing. I think I need to stop myself and kind of hold things back. So, okay. So I got better towards the end and made a complete mess of that first corner. I'm going to have to do this 3 or 4 times before I can really get my eye in, I think. So now this is going to be slightly more fun with these shapes, going down and then doing a loop. I'm not sure again if this blade is going to be good for that, but we'll have a go. I made a complete mess. You can see from the back I made a complete mess of that. It's not a great start. I've got a spiral blade coming fairly soon, so I think anything with tight curves I'm going to end up doing with a spiral. This is a 3 or 5, no, it's a 4 on here. I would have thought that would have been better, but I'll keep going just to get my eye in, I think, on this. Now that was completely ridiculous. That really made a mess. Just doing the one there, I couldn't get any even round curves at all. So I think I'm gonna chicken out on curves. Anything with curves, I'm gonna use a spiral blade, I think, rather than a straight one. Then we're moving on to this kind of battlements shape. I do suspect I'm gonna have a similar problem here, but I'll give it a go. See where we get to. Again, that was completely ridiculous. I don't think I followed the lines at all the way around. There's a technique I've seen on YouTube where you come to a corner and kind of pull it forward so the back of the blade's against the wood, and I was trying to do that, but it didn't seem to work at all, so definitely more practice needed here. But as it is, I don't really have time to play about at the minute. I've got a box making hopefully coming out on Monday, so I've got to move on and try and do a practice run for some resin work. So I've got here my next lot of practice shapes, so I'm going to just trim off here and then use this to make one. So I've got a whole load of bits and pieces of weirdly cut wood and not very much to show for it really. I'm disappointed in my starting position, but I think I've got to unlearn a lot of the things I do with the sewing machine. So trying to unlearn 15 years worth of sewing machine use is going to be difficult. As it is my first scroll saw-ish box project, should be coming up this week hopefully, if it hasn't come up already, because I'm recording this a little bit ahead of time. So I've cut out a basic shape, half heart shape here, and the idea is to do like a resin inlay with some cooled flowers. So that's the next project to come up. So perhaps you've seen this already. If not, this is where it started. It wasn't a bad cut really, but when I get to doing it in the actual box, I'm going to have to really slow down on the curve, I think. So that's the next stage of the saga. So by the time I do the next video for Scroll Saw Saga, I should have this box completed, and I should be slightly more proficient in the actual method of scroll sawing. So speak to you then.